Good morning, Ambazonia. Today, na number 19 day for the month of May 2021. My name na Capo Daniel, Sense Pass King, Ambazonian Tsar, the Deputy Defense Chief of the Ambazonian Defense Forces. La République du Cameroun strikes in Kumbu with terrorism. Fellow citizens of Ambazonia, for number 3 days in a row, La République du Cameroun unleashed massive terrorism in the great state of Bui. It done been 3 days now since the occupation terrorist forces of La République du Cameroun they ran launch an invasion inside the great state of Bui. Ambazonian citizens then stand from far, they observe how their entire villages, entire belongings they be burned for inside Bui. Udam get report for 4 civilian casualties The complete picture in Obabi emerge. One pregnant woman be recorded as being executed by La République du Cameroun for inside Konawata towards Mve for Kumbu. The Cameroon military that also completely burned houses and an entire market section for inside Mbu as video them the image from Nso land.
They not enter Fugu village. They not burn all houses them there. So now wait then that way it don't happen for there. As when I see like this container, they not already move all things for inside before they burn the house. So this other house, they don't burn and it burn for back. But the house, they don't broke and they move all things. So for this other side, the number broke and the number born and for back, they move all things for inside. Then carry people their mattress, all food stock, rice, all things where they sell them for the store then. The number broke and they move all. Go for the other section. Cross for the other side. The number on the line for bull market. We finish all. Go right for back. We will do their houses and they come for the other side. They don't burn this one. So, nothing, not remain for the market. So now work for La République terrorist soldiers.
In the video, the cameraman they show an entire market where it be looted inside 14 trucks La République them move all valuables, all goods the way they sell them for market before them burn them, including livestock executing the animals the way they know if they carry them go. This one a complete armed robbery, complete terrorism against innocent civilian. It be supposed for being noted by the people, say no one Ambazonian camp was attacked by the Cameroon military. This was a purely attack against the Bui people by the Cameroon terrorist occupation forces. The innocent citizens for Bui, they ask themselves, now which crime they don't commit them, where a professional military with good command structure, well equipped, armed to the teeth, it go come attack civilian targets, burning down the entire market after looting them. Is this the promise made by so-called colonial Honorable Nga Esther, where we visit Bui? Promise, say go come reconstruct road. Is this what she promised when she came with an armored car?
I don't come for yes on a mission for government. So we are going to fix this road. We arrange this road. I will take the mission. I will take the message to the minister. They will arrange all the routes. Even before they arrange the route, I will try to fix that. I will talk with my mayor. So the council will see what to do. And myself, I will give my own support. So we fix that bridge at Saranka. Why?
Is this the promise as the colonial Senator Esther, it became promise? Rebuilding of bridges, rebuilding of roads? No. They have come and they have proven by their action that La République du Cameroun and its representatives in Ambazonia are there to fight against the people, killing them, burning them, keep them subjugated. This is pure terrorism by an apartheid state that consider the people in our territory as subject to a brutal regime that seeks to impose itself and punish the people for making legitimate demand and aspiring to be free. Is this the gift brought to the people of Bui by the Fon Binglo, who have returned to his palace protected by the terrorist regime and occupation forces from Yaoundé? Is this the promise of his return to his people? A gift of burning down of villages, emptying of barns, leaving his subjects poor, displaced, and helpless. This is pure subjugation. This is pure slavery. Where have we gone wrong? All these happenings are happening as the 20th day of mourning arrives, a day where the people of the southern Cameroun and Ambazonia mourn for their territory that have been held captive by a foreign government of La République du Cameroun. 20th May will be remembered this year as the year of resistance, the 20th May of resistance, as the Ambazonia Defense Forces declared lockdown on 20th May for the people to resist Cameroon occupation, to resist Cameroon burning down of villages, Cameroon terrorism against its people who aspire to be free and expresses their political ambition as a people who wants outright separation and independence from a failed union that has never been consummated. In an interview granted by Dr. Carson Anyangwe and Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, they talked about the deception that have befallen the people of the southern Cameroon with the occupation, annexation, recolonization of Ambazonia by La République du Cameroun.
I cannot understand how a people, a leadership that walk out of the Eastern House of Assembly and set up office in their own capital without firing a shot, could allow itself not to think about instituting a kind of a defense mechanism to protect our institutions, our people.
Yes, Ambazonians are wondering how come a country that have been well constituted like the southern Cameroon is left unprotected, our people being subjected to such brutal treatment by La République du Cameroun. How did we end up here? Dr. Carson Anyangwe explained.
The idea of what they keep on calling a reunification was forced down his throat by UPC. You clearly made that remark. That's very true. And he reluctantly took on that. The other idea too, and many people don't say this a lot, the Southern Cameroon forced federalism down his throat. He was a very reluctant recipient of federalism. But the French advised him to accept it as a bait, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
As a bait, as a way of capturing the Southern Cameroons. Because how could you explain? Here is French Cameroon. They talk so much about their sovereignty and so on. And they had sovereignty, assuming the French gave them that sovereignty. They had sovereignty. And barely a year and a half later, they were prepared to forego that sovereignty and assume the lesser status of a mere federated state at the same level with this thing. So that was a bait, a strategy to, like as we say in Pidgin, you take corn, you throw a fowl, make and chop, you know. And so he knew very well, and the French advised him, if you do not accept the federalism which French are talking about, they will go to Nigeria, you lose, they will have nothing. So he reluctantly accepted. So he accepted federalism, rammed down his throat. He accepted reunification, rammed down his throat. And as for federalism, which was rammed down his throat, he then decided, after the French have talked to him, said, look, yes, you're a good boy, you've done what you're supposed to do. Now undo that federalism and go back to what we know. And still they're going back. you know. And I've always told people, look, there is no single instance in world history where if federalism has failed, it has been supplanted by a unitary system. There's none. There's no one example, but that one did not even survive for long. And that was the case of Adolf Hitler. When in 1934, he changed German federalism, become a unity state under him. But you know what happened? Immediately after the war, the Germans lost no time and they reinstated the federal system. Now, check out history. There is no other instance where a unity system has successfully supplanted a federal system. And wherever federalism has failed, what always happens is the whole system has collapsed. The component unit has set their individuality. Check out history. Not only here. Check out Latin America. Check out in Asia, Africa, in Europe. It has been the same thing. So this idea that French Cameroon could fraud a unitary system and impose on a federal system after it says it was not working is just not on. And I want to say, we are saying this not just for a record, of course, for historical record, because we, like the Jews in Israel, we have since left, like the Jews in Egypt, we have since left Egypt. We had crossed the Red Sea. Moses has struck the sea, we cross over. I will never go back. That is clear. But we are saying this now for purposes for the record, so that history can record. And secondly, to show that they shouldn't think that we are stupid and that we don't know. We know or we knew what happened. The fundamental question you ask about leadership, how our people allow themselves to be manipulated by these people. I've tried to figure out why. Two things. One, our people spend so much time and energy fighting the British to get out of Nigeria. A lot of effort and energy was expended on that. The meetings in Nigeria, meetings in the UK, and so on, trying to extricate us from Nigeria. And even after we left in 1954, as far as the arrangement was concerned, we were still part of Nigeria. Until 1960, when Nigeria achieved independence. So our people spend, that is a lot of time, a lot of energy. And because of that, Nigeria became the reference. All our people. That's where they cut the political teeth. That's where they had their education. That is where some of them got married. That's where they interacted. Nigeria, and Nigeria for them was the example. Even for the intellectual mention, even Fallon. He brought up in Nigeria. All the Norman Goose we are talking about, all these are big intellectuals. All of them. Young one, all of Nigeria. So our people were never exposed. They were never exposed to the world. And like the American Consul General remarked, that our people, the leadership is mainly livers, which in itself is nothing, because Hejo was just a primary school graduate. And the biggest job ever had was a postmaster. So that was a Hejo district. So I don't think that in itself. But the point is that they were not exposed to the rest of the world. Their highest district was Nigeria. That's what I was referring to, Nigeria. And when, of course, they went for constitutional meetings in London and UK, they only go for a day or two. And know those meetings. You get in the plane, you come, they take you into a hotel, I 10 minutes after I take you back. There was no interaction with other UK MPs or political leaders or intellectuals. Nothing. Not one of our politicians in Bui could take a phone call and call somebody in the UK, a minister there, or an intellectual there. Nothing. Not one. So there was that very serious limitation of our people. Now, when they turned over, not turned out to French Cameroun, there was a different experiment at all. And that's another thing that killed us, naivety, born out of being too trusting. They believed When French Cameroun come and tell lies as the oligarchs are telling, fraud, they took them at face value. They didn't question. They didn't look behind to say, no, what do people mean? They took them. But later on, then at their own expense, that they have been taken for a ride. These two things, in my view, contributed very, very seriously to the dealership which we had. They would have still put up a very good fight if the British didn't lay them down this path with Nigeria thing and so on. They would still have done if we didn't have this culture of believing. And part of it, of course, is due to religion. There are two religious branches of our politicians were either Catholic or the Protestant. And the leadership at first, Foncha was Catholic. Joe was Catholic. The only person who was not Catholic was Muna. And that is why, and that's part of the reason why he was able to get on with the Ahejo. Because, going back to the history of UPC, Ahejo and the Catholics were always at loggerheads. Because UPC, these things were actually at the Roman Catholics who are at the forefront. BBED and all of those guys, Mahima Tiba. They were not Protestants, they were essentially Catholics. And the Archdiocese then in Yaoundé, the Archbishop, was giving Ahejo headache. So Ahejo had no love lost for Catholics. None at all. Killing them more from didn't mean anything, or any Roman Catholic. And so he was more aligned to people like the Protestantism, Mona, for example. And that, when we look at all of this, explaining the way our people found themselves in, and of course, the last element is our people, at some point, they cracked and stopped thinking together and acting together. They start each man for himself, God for us, and the devil takes the hindmost. That's what happened. Mona fighting his survival, Foncha fighting his own survival, Endele for his own, and so on and so forth. Mutual accusation and blame. Either it's Graphic who are taking this, or the coastal people are taking this, and so on and so forth. And there was no time when our people said, look, we have a common adversary.
And so there we go. There we found ourselves in a situation where a foreign army have recruited some of our own. They go around burning our villages, maiming our people, using rape as a weapon of war, killing innocent pregnant women, children, targeting livestock, looting them, killing the ones they cannot carry, seizing Bensikin and carrying them to Kumba. After the complete dismantling of our administration and our defenses, we are all left bare, unprotected against a foreign army that is well connected in the international system. Ambazonia, as we approach the 20th May of resistance, we must remember our history and see the example of what is happening in Mbu, in the great state of Bui, as a clean picture of what union, what relationship, what coexistence with La République du Cameroun means. It is not something built on truth. It is a deception. It is a poison. It is slavery. It is outright legalization of terrorism on our people. We must, as a matter of survival, get out of here. We must fight until the last man standing to make sure the days of coexistence with this foreign government, this French Cameroun, should come to an end. Let our people pray for our soldiers as we prepare for major operations to guarantee our freedom and separation from La République. God bless you all. Capo Daniel, signing out.
Then